everybody. Sophos Annual Threat Report is a study highlighting the top cybersecurity threats facing small to medium-sized businesses each year. And once again, ransomware was the top threat facing SMBs, accounting for over 70% of cases Sophos studied for this report. I'm Brittany Deaton, and today I've got Sam Keating on here to discuss more. Thanks, Samantha.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm curious, why do you think ransomware threat actors are still targeting small businesses so often? Like, what is in it for them?
Yeah, there's this weird misconception that hackers are only interested in enterprise accounts. And that's not true. I've been at Sophos for just over 11 years now. And what I've learned personally is that small to medium-sized businesses are often seen as low-hanging fruit. They are being attacked on a regular basis. And the why behind it is that sometimes they don't even have full-time IT staff, let alone a cybersecurity team that's dedicated to their account with 24/7 coverage. This means less security, fewer backups, and a higher chance that they'll actually pay up in order to get their systems back online. This is really attractive to attackers. I believe it was our State of Ransomware report that shared this, but ransom payouts are up 500% over previous years, with the average payment being around $2 million, dollars, which in the world of our SMBs is quite significant. For cyber criminals, that's a huge payday with relatively little effort compared to attacking a massive enterprise organization that has layers of defense. It's fast money and it works.
No, I honestly, I think you made super valid points there, and I really appreciate your insight. I'm also seeing from the report that compromised network edge devices were the largest single source of network intrusions for SMBs. Now, what's an edge device? Why would a threat actor be targeting them?
Yeah, think of things like firewalls, routers, or VPN gateways. So basically anything that sits on the edge of your network. I personally like to think of it as like a digital bouncer. So someone who is checking who comes in and who doesn't. The problem is that these devices are always connected. They're often under-maintained and sometimes they're left running with outdated firmware or the default settings. And that makes them prime targets. So if a cyber criminal can get in through one of these devices, it's kind of like sneaking through the back door. And then from there, they can move deeper into your systems undetected.
Interesting. Now, I noticed that you said a VPN was an example of an edge device. Now, VPNs were also a major source of compromise, and they appeared in more than 20% of these attacks targeting small business. So, let's say you're using a VPN as part of your business. What is a way to keep it secure?
Yeah, I mean, VPNs are very useful, right? They let your employees access company resources from anywhere. But when they're not secured properly, they can turn into giant backdoors for attackers. So, some things that you could do, use multi-factor authentication always, even for VPNs. Patch your VPN on a regular basis. So, vendors will often release fixes for known vulnerabilities. Make sure that you're keeping track of that. Use strong credentials. I say this to family and friends all the time, every single day. You have to update your passwords. Monitor connections, right? If there's an unusual login time, if there's a funky location, investigate it. A VPN is only as secure as the people managing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Now, we did also find that adversaries aren't using custom malware anymore, or rarely ever. Why is that? Like, why would they not be using malware? And what does it mean for small business owners?
Well, they don't have to, right? Instead of building their own tools, these adversaries are using legitimate IT software. They're stealing credentials, they're using malware kits that they've rented from the dark web. It's cheaper and faster and often harder to detect. And so if you think about these companies that exist and sell these kits, they are full-blown organizations that have their own in independent HR departments, right? This is a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate your insights. Sam, any final recommendations for our SMBs?
Yeah, so first I'd say keep your systems patched. I would also suggest training your people. Your team are your first line of defense. Make sure that they have regular training on spotting phishing emails, email scams, any kind of unusual activity. Third, we didn't really talk much about this, but lock down your email and user accounts. Use multi-factor authentication always. Uh, I'd also say upgrade your security tools. Basic antivirus just isn't cutting it anymore, and it hasn't been cutting it for many years. Go for behavioral based tools, services and products like EDR or XDR, something that looks at strange activity instead of just known malware. If you don't have a cybersecurity team, consider a managed detection and response service, some type of service that can keep an eye on things 24/7. It's a great resource for all businesses, but definitely small to medium-sized businesses. And then finally, I would say build for resilience. Assume a breach could happen and prep like it will. Back up your data, test those backups, have a response plan ready. Who will you call? How will you communicate? What steps will you take in the event of a breach? Don't wait until you're in the middle of a crisis to figure it out.
Absolutely. Well, Sam, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. Guys, if you want to learn more, read our full 2025 annual threat report here. Talk to you soon.